Welcome back to Psycho Opinion. You're watching just one part of a breakdown and discussion of the Wrong Turn franchise. Your discretion is advised, and there are spoilers ahead. Comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and stay to the end if you would like to see a remastered, re-envisioned Wrong Turn trailer done by Psycho Opinion. Thank you. Hey, welcome back, and or thanks for sticking with us if you're watching the long version of this, or as I said, welcome back if you're watching these in pieces. We are here for Wrong Turn 4 on our Psycho Opinion movie marathon, which we are focusing on the Wrong Turn franchise and films. We are discussing all 7 of them in a row here, and what we thought of them. So if you've watched these, it's kind of interesting to see where we fall on these and kind of what your opinions are if you want to leave us a comment. We are now in Wrong Turn 4, which is called Bloody Beginnings, which we will explain why there's bloody beginnings here in just a second. I'd also like to kind of say, if you are just tuning into this one, we have done the first 3 before this if you'd like to go back and watch those, or if you're just interested in discussing Wrong Turn 4, that's what we're here for. But at the end of this, or at the end of the 7th episode, depending on how you watch this, we will be reviewing a trailer for a new Wrong Turn movie coming out, and kind of discussing some fun and interesting things about these movies as a whole at the conclusion of this. So, for Wrong Turn 4, this film provides the backstory to the 3 original killers and shows their childhood, a little bit about their childhood. It also shows the 3 brothers' story. The story focuses on a group of 9 teenagers who take a wrong turn while riding their snowmobiles and are looking for their cabin. They end up in an old abandoned insane asylum, which is still inhabited by 3 Fingers, Sawtooth, and One Eye. The friends decide to spend the night in the insane asylum, and I'm not sure if it was actually an insane asylum. I think it actually explains that it was like a different
Oh,
kind of hospital.
yeah, they call it a where is it? A sanatorium instead of a sanitarium. I do have like a note in my summary about that somewhere.
Okay, because while I'm saying this, I just recently rewatched this one, and I know that
Hmm.
they had specified that it wasn't an insane asylum, it was a sanatorium.
Yep.
And they're attacked by the Hiker brothers. By the end of the film, all 9 teenagers are dead. The film served as a prequel to the first film.
So it starts off in 1974 in a West Virginia sanatorium. Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye escape from their cells because some dumbass let a person visit through there with a metal beret, or barrette, sorry, a metal barrette, in their hair, which of course one of the cannibals gets hold of and picks the lock. They then cause chaos and rioting. They torture and kill the orderlies and doctors. One notable death is when they kill the head doctor by tying his limbs with barbed wire. Classic.
Barbed wire. Take a shot.
Yep. And pulling them off of his body. Interesting choice that they used barbed wire. So new and different. It
Take
is
a
their
shot.
favorite kind of wire, which I'm pretty sure I've seen in every movie this
They
franchise so far.
literally looked through all of the different kinds of wires,
Yep,
and they said barbed
that's the
wire. That's
one.
mine.
Yep.
Collectively, the 3 of them.
Yeah. Now we go to present day in the movie in the year 2003. Um,
2003.
yep. Immediately we see 4 people having sex in the same room. After the softcore porn scene, they meet up with a few other people to spend their winter break snowmobiling to a cabin in the mountains. They end up getting lost and taking shelter at the abandoned sanatorium from earlier in the movie. They explore the building and find old photos and records of the patients. We learn that a sanatorium is where they isolate sick people from the rest of the population, which is different from a sanitarium. I did not know that. I learned something from this movie. You can learn something from horror movies, you know. Um, a
So
bit later, they what?
right here, I'm sorry, right here, I just really want to add something because this is
Hmm.
very important to me throughout these movies.
Yeah.
All these movies, I have been like dying to know why these people do not get hurt. like why they get stabbed, why they get shot, and they just keep going. And I'm like,
Toxic waste.
I
That's
get
why I
that
assume.
they're, well, no, it actually
No.
explains it right about the part where you're at here, where they find all of the
Oh.
records and everything. So, what happened is that it actually explains in the movie that they have a congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP, also known as congenital analgesia.
Hmm.
Okay,
Like a birth
which is,
defect, but in a
yeah,
positive way, kind of,
it's one or more
from the toxic
extraordinary,
waste that they were exposed to.
maybe, maybe, but I
Yeah.
it could be. But it is described as one or more extraordinary rare conditions in which a person cannot feel and has never felt physical pain.
Mm.
And I just wanted to stop you there because I wanted to add that, because throughout these
Oh yeah.
movies, I'm like, why are these people not getting hurt? Like,
Yeah.
why are you shooting them and they're just literally just keep coming? They don't fall down in pain. They're not clutching their wounds. And so that gave us some of the answers. And
Mm.
I just wanted to add that while you were going because I felt like that was very, very important.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you did. That was good. It was a very good point. So a bit later, they find an old movie showing electric shock therapy. Now the death toll really begins.
The death
I'm only
toll
going to mention,
begins.
yeah, I'm only going to mention notable ones in this summary.
Okay.
They cut up a guy and slice potatoes and onions. He is still alive and screaming as they are cooking his parts and eating him. I did kind of enjoy this part, and it kind of reminded me of cartoons.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like when they are like cooking different cartoon characters, and they always have like that huge pot, and they're cutting up the carrots and onions,
Oh
throwing them
yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah, and like Bugs Bunny's like hanging out
exactly.
in there or something in the big. Yeah, I know what
Yes.
you're talking about.
Then pour into stew pot. Now add sliced parsnips, potatoes, asparagus, onions. Huh? Oh, okay. Skip the onions.
The remaining people capture the cannibals in a cell. One of the cannibals finds the woman's hairpin we saw back in 1974, so that was foreshadowing.
Mm.
He picks the lock. The cannibals trick the remaining into killing one of their friends. They all stab him at least 20 times before they realize, shock, it's their friend. What a twist.
Wow. Dun dun
They
dun.
killed their own friend.
That's terrible. How do you live
Yeah,
with yourselves?
yeah.
You don't. Anyway.
One girl gets stabbed by a giant drill. That was kind
Ooh,
of cool.
that was rough.
Yeah. Then it's cannibals on snowmobile time. It's cannibals on
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Cannibals on
Cannibals on
ice.
ice. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
They chase the last three people in the snow. One girl gets run over by a snowmobile while copious amounts of blood spray out. The last two girls trick one of the cannibals and ride off on the snowmobile, only to be decapitated when they drive through a fence set up with, you guessed it, barbed wire.
Barbed wire. Take a shot.
Yeah. The surviving cannibal collects the bodies from the snow, and it's the end. No survivors. You know, I was just thinking about something. The new movie that's going to be coming out. I really hope they call it Barbed Wire.
Mm. I don't think you have such luck, but
Wasn't
they
there
did
a
make a
movie called
movie.
Barbed
Yeah,
Wire?
they did make a movie called Barbed Wire.
Pamela Anderson?
Believed it had Pamela
Pamela Anderson.
Anderson was
Yeah,
the lead role,
yeah.
and I don't remember anything about it except for
I
that.
don't either.
I think it may have been one of those movies I watched as a teenager because it
Hmm.
was like sexy-ish or something, but I don't remember really anything about it. It wasn't very memorable.
I'm pretty sure I never actually watched the whole movie. I probably just saw like little bits and pieces when I was changing channels.
Yeah, that's probably all you needed.
But yeah.
Um, so I'll go with some notes on this one.
Mhm.
So after explaining the congenital analgesia, which does answer a huge question. There's still little
Hmm.
offered about their origin, but they are younger, so it gives us that backstory people like so much.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this installment is that in the beginning of the movie, the three brothers are locked up together. Why? It seems that it would make it way more dangerous and give the antagonist a chance to scheme and escape. I don't
True.
understand that. Why would you ever put the three of them together in a cell? It
Yeah.
makes
That's pretty
zero
dumb.
sense. Zero sense.
Well, you're talking about back in like the 70s, right?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So they already did a stupid thing by allowing that lady to come in with that metal barrette thing.
Yeah.
So I guess they just weren't very good at thinking things through back then
I mean, I could see the
at that
lack of, I
sanatorium.
could see maybe the lack of security, but
Yeah.
putting them together is just, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you wouldn't
Doesn't make
take,
common sense,
yeah, like you wouldn't
right?
put three gang members together in the same cell. You know, you
Exactly.
wouldn't put three, I don't know, you just wouldn't put three people that already have a connection and relationship together because they're
Mm.
going to scheme and escape. I mean, that's just 101 in my opinion. When they do break out, which was inevitable, there's one of those psychiatric hospital mayhem scenes we've seen
Mm.
before, like House on Haunted Hill, but with a more whimsical, plenty of gore, and a little bit of cheese we expect from a Wrong
Mm.
Turn movie. So it was fun. It was like it did remind me of House on Haunted Hill. I don't know if you ever saw House on
I
Haunted
did.
Hill,
Yeah.
but that part where basically the in that case it wasn't an insane asylum, a sanitarium,
Mhm.
but where like just all hell breaks loose. It's kind of very similar to that scene, but a little more whimsical and fun, in Wrong Turn fashion. The vibe of this movie being set in the mostly abandoned hospital is different than the other films. The vibe, uh, the vibe was different as well, but not necessarily in a bad way, in my opinion. I
Mm.
don't think the
Better than the
vibe was.
third.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second. Um, I thought the vibe was different, but I thought it was not bad.
Mm.
As you watch this film, we have heavy lesbian sex and the usual, uh, tit scenes and all of that,
Mm.
such as where all the blood from the last gruesome kill as the crew walks through the area looking for their friend. Okay, so some of these movies you're kind of like, huh, is what I was trying to say here, and one of that is like all the blood from the last gruesome kill. Like they walk through looking for their friend, and it's like, did they not notice that? I mean, there had to be blood there. Like it was,
Yeah.
yeah, like it had to have been bloody as hell because wrong turn fashion is bloody as hell.
Mhm.
But they walk through and it's like there's no blood. I don't know. That was a little, huh? But anyway, so one scene that needs attention brought to it is a scene where the then survivors chase the deformed brothers into a cell. I wonder why the three brothers are so afraid of a few women with kitchen knives. But I guess the scene had to go down one way or another. So they get the brothers locked into their cell once again. The character Kyle wants to set them on fire while they are trapped. The women talk him out of this, which he agrees to, and
That
it
was
leads to
dumb.
his death and their escape. One of the brothers have escaped. All the women want to do is kill them. If they had this attitude earlier, Kyle would still be alive.
Right?
That part is when it gets real fun. Another name for this movie could have been Dead as Fuck. That's what I wrote down. That could have been another name for this movie.
I don't know. I kind of like Cannibals on Ice
Cannibals on Ice is great. That actually is better. I
or
can't even
Cooking
ruin
with Cannibals.
Cooking with
Cooking with
Cannibals.
Cannibals.
I like that too. You're good. You should name movies. I can't even ruin the ending of a film like this. One or two people live, and we believe the bad guys are dead. It really all comes down to how it goes down that makes any slasher successful. I will say I enjoyed the ending to this one, but you did give the ending. No
I did.
survivors. And that's fine. I don't know why I wouldn't have given it, but the point is that I really liked this one actually.
Really liked it. Oh.
I really liked it. I really liked it. It actually was in my top. It's more towards my top than my bottom as far as the ratings go, which I'll share at the end of this, like I had promised the viewers or listeners. I think that, I don't know, I thought this one was really fun. I kind of liked the whole
I mean,
snowmobile thing. I kind of
yeah.
liked the whole, I like the whole situation. I don't know if I could find any other term but fun. I just thought this was a fun one.
Mhm. I don't exactly disagree with you on that it's a fun movie because it does have a bit of cheese in it, like you were saying earlier. And I do like that. But whereas like the second one I think had a bit more of the cheesy campiness to it, and then this one doesn't have like maybe enough, I guess, for me to like it. But yeah, I feel like this one was pretty bad. Like this one's actually lower on the spectrum for me,
Wow.
and instead of higher for you.
We
There
are
was
totally on
bad.
different pages with
Yeah,
the
I
wrong
mean,
turn movies.
first of all, the effects were terrible. They were really bad, really, really bad. The practical effects were bad. The CGI effects were bad. So that's too bad. That's too much bad. The makeup looked especially mask-like in this one for me. Um, the acting was not good. I hated most of the dialogue. Didn't care about the characters at all.
Wow.
The only redeeming aspect, other than it's a little bit fun, it's a little bit on the cheesier side. I did kind of like the ending a little bit too, only for the cheesiness part of it. Um, it made me kind of like laugh. uh, the only other redeeming aspect would be the ways they try to trick each other using like certain strategies. Feel like there was certain strategic moves that they tried to do. They also did a lot of really dumb things, like you were saying before, some pretty dumb decisions. Oh, and the big drill. I did kind of like the big drill. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it looked kind of like a big drill. And yeah, that was pretty much it for me. Like
Wow.
a little bit of some redeeming qualities, but overall, did not like.
Wow. Very different opinions for us on part 2 and part 4. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just thought this one was kind of enjoyable. I like the whole snowmobile snow thing. I liked. I mean, it didn't give us too much of an origin story, really, but it did give us some background to the
That is true.
characters.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I do like a backstory.
Yeah, the backstory to me was kind of fun.
Mhm.
I mean, the people that were there were absolutely ridiculous, and their decisions
Mhm.
were absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, realistically, what else could you expect from a horror movie? I mean, that's what you get when you watch any kind of Friday the 13th or Wrong Turn. You're going to get a group of basically like
True.
young idiots,
Yeah.
mostly people that I don't feel. And that's one thing I think that really set the first one apart is that I think in the first one, they were actually kind of making more sensible decisions.
Mhm.
Of course, it didn't work out for everybody all the time in the first one, but it did feel like they were a little more thought out and like I had said in the description, a little more well rounded.
Mhm.
Whereas the sequels 2, 3, and 4 so far all kind of have that just cast of morons that just make
Yeah.
bad decisions. And
This one
this one
definitely
was
felt like a cast of morons, but they did try to be strategic a little bit.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart.
well, I mean, like you got the guys locked in a cell. First of all, why are you leaving one guy to watch them? I don't know. I
Mhm.
mean, these guys are killers. They killed your friends. Like your friends are dead. You got them in a cell. The only thing standing between your survival or your death is these guys. And it's like when the guy was just like, let's set them on fire, it's like you could have just taken care of it. Like you could have just ended it right then and there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I can't stand in horror movies is it's like 99% of the time when the protagonist or a protagonist in a movie dies, it's because they don't like double tap, if you will, using a zombie
Yeah.
term. It's like they
Good
shoot the
reference.
guy, stab the guy, whatever, and he falls, and then they're like, okay, he's dead. And they walk away, and the guy gets back up, or the killer gets back up, and then he
Mhm.
continues his killing spree. And I don't understand why they ever do that. Like, why don't they make sure he's dead? Why don't they do that? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if I was in that situation and I was like, hey, we've got him in a cell, I would have set him on fire or something. I would have finished it. I would have ended it.
And beheaded him.
And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe probably beheaded them. I don't know,
Mhm.
stab their dead bodies 150 times. I don't
Like
know.
they did their friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they were so aggressive towards their friend who they basically
Right.
tricked in a very foolish kind of way. They tricked them into killing their friend, and they like overkilled their friend, but they didn't do anything to the guys when they had them. So I'm
Yep.
just kind of like, why did you do that? And that's kind of where I'm at with part 4. It's just I thought it was fun. I thought as far as these movies go, it definitely is more towards the top end for me. It
Yikes.
was,
We definitely disagree on this one.
yeah. I mean, maybe we'll come back together a little bit more on 5 and 6 or 7.
Possibly. Possibly. We'll see. Yep.
But as of right now, I think unless you have anything else to add.
Well, there is like one small thing that I was going to add. I do think that this particular movie, as I was watching it, I did get a little bit nostalgic for the time period because I think it's mostly because of the clothes that they wear or something. Maybe. I don't know. I was like looking at their clothes and I was like, I remember when I used to wear stuff like that. And like some of that came back in fashion recently. But I don't know. That's just a small little thing that I just noticed, when I was
So
watching
there's
it.
something you liked about it.
No, there is a couple of things that I liked about it, but yeah, overall, I really did not like this one.
Okay.
But I did like this one a little bit better than the third one.
We can both agree on that.
Yeah.
We both agree on that.
Yeah.
So is that where you leave it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was kind of our summary and interpretation of Wrong Turn 4. So once again, if you've seen this movie, please leave a comment. Kind of let us know where you're at with all of this, which ones you liked the best, or which ones you thought were worth a watch, or which ones you hated, would recommend that people don't watch. This is just kind of a new thing that Jen and I were talking about doing, is just kind of picking a franchise and reviewing some movies. So hopefully we're going to be doing this more in the future. But we just kind of picked Wrong Turn first because actually one day I just sort of sat down and watched them, and I was like, hey, like, why don't we start here? Because this is an interesting one, and I don't feel like a lot of people talk about the Wrong Turns. There's probably a pretty good reason for some of them and why they don't talk about them. But here we are doing it, so somebody is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, continue on. We're going to be talking about Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines coming up, which was made in 2012. And we'll go from there. It's interesting because these movies were like pretty yeah, they were pretty close in 2009. Then the next one's 2012. So I mean they were knocking one out every couple of years. The Wrong Turn 2 was 2007 to 2009, which was Wrong Turn 3. So they made these pretty consecutively. I just noticed that. It has nothing to really do with anything. Just thought I'd comment. But yeah, Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines 2012. Please stay tuned or click on the next episode to watch that. And we hope to see you again there. And remember, at the end, we will be putting these in order of our favorite to least favorite and talking about some fun, interesting things and reviewing a trailer. So we'll see you then.